Yes, well, you may be the King of France, but it's much more important to me to be making a screencast for my class than to be talking to you. Hello there! Short screencasts on how to look for a second source from the author you're working for on your rhetorical analysis project. Now, again, all of you have chosen popular press books, and that term is used both to refer to the kind of press that publishes the book, but also to the audience that is written for a popular audience, kind of a generally well-educated audience, someone much like yourself, regardless of what particular discipline you might be in, or what kind of specialized knowledge you might have about a particular area. So, for instance, those of you who are biology students probably could read a book written specifically for researchers in biology and understand it, be able to follow it, and benefit from it. But these books are written for a popular audience, even if maybe the writers often speak to a more specialized audience like that of biology researchers. But again, part of our project is to look at how this author communicates differently when they're addressing those two different audiences. So you all have your books. How are you going to find that extra piece, that article that you can use as a comparison? Well, it's going to be quick, so let's take a look. All right. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do this, and if all else fails, I'd say to feel free to simply, trundle on down to the university library, presuming you're, a student who's down on campus every once in a while, and ask for help finding an article. But I think you could probably find it on your own and just download it directly to your computer. Now, the first thing you want to do, if you're not using a computer on campus, is log into the Wayne State Library. So if you go to the library site, there's a login there. You can log in. If you're using a computer that's already on campus, then you can just totally skip that step. And why is it important to be logged into the library? You'll see in a moment. So anyway, here I just went to Google, and I'm going to use not just regular Google search, but some of you may have used this before, Google Scholar search. So if I click on more, it actually is not going to be listed here, but if I click on even more, it'll give me this long list. And if I scroll down to, I think it's the no, maybe it's the fifth, maybe it's the sixth, maybe it's under specialized search here. In the right-hand column, you'll see Google Scholar, right? So when you click on that, you're taken back to regular Google search, but now it's Google Scholar search. So for instance, one of the authors you have the opportunity to choose for your rhetorical analysis assignment is a physicist named Freeman Dyson. So I'm going to put his name in. I'm going to use, the quotation marks just so I'm not getting everything with Freeman or Dyson. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that kind of search option when you're using Google. So I'm going to just, leave this click. I only need legal documents. The default's articles and patents. So when I click search, now I'm getting not just results that have to do with anything that references that person or is written by them, but specifically scholarly research and scholarly articles, right? So, so these are all, if you can see F.J. Dyson, these all have Freeman Dyson as their primary author. Now I could pick one of these older ones. I could pick perhaps, click on since 2008 and see what I get. Here we go. Now I want to look for scholarly journals in particular. So something for the National Academy of Sciences seems like it would be pretty useful to me. Or maybe this one from the Ramanujan Journal in 2012. So again, if it has journal in the title, I'm probably looking at an academic journal. If I look at the abstract, I can probably be pretty well assured that this sounds like it's an academic journal. And this is a good one for me to use because it's under full text, or I have this link that says full text at Wayne State off to the right. So if I click on that, boom, it's going to take me to the library page. This is why it's useful and necessary that you be logged into the library before you do the search, because otherwise Google Scholar doesn't know what library you want to reference. But if you're already logged into the Wayne State Library system, it's going to know that's the library you're looking for. And again, if you're just using a computer that's on campus, it's a lot easier right off the bat. So anyway, now that I'm here, I'm taken to this page, and it says right here, I can get the article. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to ask me to log in because I actually am using a Wayne State computer. But to actually download it, it wants to know who's downloading it. Whoops. Apparently, I also do not know my own Wayne State ID and password. There it is! Now if I wanted to read this, then I just click on the download PDF, and boom, I'd open it up and I'd have that second source that I'm going to use to compare to the popular press book. And what I'd be looking at there is, again, this is not going to dominate your entire analysis, but I assume since it's a requirement for the project that you address it at some level, maybe you have one paragraph, two paragraphs, maybe you find a way to work it in the middle, maybe you just close with it, whatever it might be. But you're going to talk about how they use different kinds of language and maybe different sentence structures or more complex language or more specialized language when they write for the academic journal versus when they're writing for a popular press audience. Now, depending on which author you chose and which discipline they're writing, and there might be more or less divergence between those two things, but it's something you want to at least analyze within a couple paragraphs in your essay. Should we do one more? Let's do one more. So let's see, clicking back. No, we don't want to. Let's stay logged in. Let's go back to Google Scholar. And let's see, another one of the authors that I know a couple of you are working on is neuroscience researcher Antonio Damasio. So I can click on that. Now again, it's going to give me the books, if they're considered, vaguely academic-y or scholarly, are going to show up in this result too. But I'm not looking for books. I'm looking for academic articles written for an academic audience. So again, what's tricky here is there's a lot of multi-authored pieces that have Damasio as one of the authors, but I want him to be the main author. So that way we can assume it's actually that individual, Damasio, doing most of the writing themselves. All right, so here's two that look good, 96 and 96. Nature is, a very well-known academic journal in the life sciences. That could be a good one. I got full text from Wayne State. I also got this PDF someone else has uploaded somewhere else. So maybe I'll just try that one, see if that works. Looks like I got it. And it is downloading, as you see. Oops. Oh, there it is. Boom, look how big it is. Oh wait, that's the wrong Damasio. It's got Antonio Damasio at the end. Looks like I made a little mistake on that one. Mistook the H for an AR. So let's just pretend that didn't happen. And instead we'll take this one, which does have AR Damasio as the lead author, and click on this. And there we are, right? So this is a particularly good article for those of you who would be working, for instance, on the Damasio books that were on the list, because they have to do with the semantic marker hypothesis, which is a theory he addresses in the popular press books that were on the list. So again, though they both have the same topic, and you're going to hear about the semantic marker hypothesis in both of those books as well as this research article, what you'd be able to talk about is, well, how does he refer to that hypothesis differently in those two different places? So anyway, that's a quick and easy way to find an academic article written for a specialized audience from the author of your text. Again, if you have a problem, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to kind of walk you through it or suggest other ways you could find one if you're having some difficulty. And of course, don't be afraid to check on or appear physically in the library itself and talk to one of the librarians there and get some help looking for the appropriate article for your project. All right, sound good? Okay, I'll be back soon. It's soon for me. It could be, who knows how long. You could take a long time between watching the screencast, but for some reason I always say I'll be back soon with more. I guess I find it reassuring. Maybe you do too. Anyway.